Exercise. Very important part of owning a dog and also training. There's a lot of benefits of exercise that have to do with training your dog. Now, when people hear exercise, they generally think of one type of exercise, and that's physical exercise. And while that is one of them, there are actually two types of exercise that I want to talk about, okay? Now, the first one, sure, physical. Let's talk about that first because that is a, very common one. Going for walks, dog park, throwing the ball. So, physical exercise, right? There is a belief that, not proven, but it's just kind of a belief. And I mean, we've seen enough dogs that we can kind of make this guess that when a dog is under exercise, there is a sort of chemical that builds up in their brain. And when a dog is, fully unexercised and has that chemical fully built up, it's the equivalent of a human being drinking 50 Red Bulls and then a couple of cups of coffee and then trying to sit still in a room, sitting on a chair and sitting still for 8 hours. You would just be going like this and you couldn't control yourself because you've got so much energy. That is the feeling that dogs get when they are under-exercised. And when they're in that state, it makes it very difficult for them to listen to you. So physical exercise is very important to let them burn off that energy. If you've ever seen, you take your dog for a walk and you come home, you take them off the leash, and what happens? They start tearing laps around the backyard, around the house. What they're telling you is that I did not get enough physical exercise. That's exactly what that means. And here's the thing, usually with physical exercise, just walking your dog, right? Usually walking, not enough. In fact, sometimes walking makes the problem worse, right? In order to burn off that chemical, a lot of the time, dogs need to just be able to run. If I take my dog for a walk, and I bring him home, and he starts running laps around the backyard, he's telling me he didn't get enough exercise. So he's trying to burn that off. And oftentimes, just walking actually gets the dog more worked up, which is why when you get them home, they need to start running to try to, get that excitement out. So when you have the option for physical exercise, you have the option to let your dog run at a dog park, at a people park, wherever you can take them so they can run, opt for running because it's going to get them more tired. Particularly if you have that issue where after a walk, you come home and they start running laps around the house. That's their way of saying, hey, human, hello, I need more physical exercise. Okay, so I said two types of exercise. One is physical, and that's very important. Here's the other one that a lot of people don't necessarily know about, and that's mental. Okay, mental exercise is just as, if not more, important. Now, how do we get our dogs, mental exercise? They can't read books, they can't go do puzzles. Well, they can't read books, but they can do puzzles. And that is the #1 way for mental stimulation. Puzzle toys. Things like Kongs, like Busybodies, like raw bones that you can stuff food into. Toys where they have to work to get the food out, right? I call them puzzle toys. Maybe you have another name for them. I just call them puzzle toys because that's essentially what they are, all right? I like puzzle toys so much, that is how my dog gets his meals. I do not believe in food bowls. I think it's a waste of food. You put a bowl of food down and it's gone in 30 seconds. I much rather take that same amount of food, split it up into 3 different puzzle toys, toys where I stuff the food in there, and then I give that to my dog for his meals. And now his meals take him, hour and a half, and for an hour to an hour and a half, he has tons of mental stimulation. And he has to think, he has to use his brain, he is so tired after dinner, sometimes we don't even go for walks, we don't even go to the park to let him run, because he's so tired just from the mental stimulation, right? Take advantage of puzzle toys, there are so many. Amazon, check out my links on to Amazon in the products section, and I have a bunch of puzzle toys that I recommend. Puzzle toys are a magic tool, alright? They're great also for helping to solve behavior issues. If you have a dog who barks when you're gone, well, guess what? If you give them a puzzle toy when you're gone, they're not going to be barking. They're going to be working on their toy. And in fact, that puzzle toy rewards them for being quiet. Because every second they're quiet and every time a piece of food falls out, they're getting rewarded for being quiet. You're training them without you even being there, okay? So, puzzle toys, mental stimulation, it's very important. If you have a dog who, is pretty advanced with puzzle toys, here's a little trick for Kongs, alright? You take your Kong and take some of the dog's kibble, and you're going to stuff the kibble in there, and then take the entire toy with the kibble, and you're going to run it under hot water for a couple of minutes, as long as it takes for the kibble to expand and get nice and soggy, right? Sounds gross to us, but the dogs are going to love this. Now, you've got the Kong with the soggy kibble inside, and into the freezer it goes. You leave it in there overnight, you pull it out the next day, and now you've got this nice big toy with frozen food in there. And that's going to take your dog quite some time to get out, okay? Just one trick, but take advantage of puzzle toys, okay? Exercise, 2 types. Physical exercise, mental exercise. Dogs need both. So make sure you're doing your best to be able to, give your dog off-leash time to be able to run and really burn off the, that need to run. And mental exercise, we do that with puzzle toys. Things that get our dog thinking. Things that, just what it is. That gives our dogs mental stimulation, alright? So that's the exercise guide. Puzzle toys, mental stimulation, physical exercise. If you have a puppy, your #1 job before you teach him sit, down, stay is socialization. Socializing your puppy is your #1 priority.